Hey guys, how's it going? This is Tim here, and we're looking at another tier list video today. And my guest today is Brendan.
Hey, yeah, I didn't think I'd be back so soon. Thought you might have a couple other guests, but you know, happy to be here today.
Well, I mean, I was hoping you could do quite a few of these. I mean, you don't have to do all of them, but
No, I'm not doing that. Like, we'll talk. We'll figure out.
all right. Anyway, we're looking at Halo 1 maps, and this I think you would agree that you're more familiar with than FTL.
Definitely, yeah. We've played Halo a lot.
Yeah. Played it on the Xbox, and I think for that reason, we're just going to be looking at the original Halo 1 maps for the Xbox today. I know that there was the PC release that had a couple additional maps, but just to make nostalgia not a factor, we're just not going to consider those maps, and we're just going to only look at the original Xbox ones. All right, so Battle Creek here. It's funny. I played this map a lot with like one friend of mine. He would always love to play this one, and it's funny how like different friends had different preferences, and this was definitely his. And I think it was pretty good for a one-on-one map, which is the basis that we're judging it on. I think it's pretty small. You can find people pretty quickly, and really, I love the center area as well. Ooh. And really just the one flaw, I think, is just the teleporter camping thing.
Sure, yeah.
Once you've kind of set up here, you've got the overshield, which gives you a huge advantage. And then I believe this is the only medipack that's actually outside. The other ones, there's some inside as well, but basically you can just camp here and you have this huge advantage because I have the overshield now. Oh, if I take some damage, I just go heal. So you can just camp here, and so I think that's kind of a flaw. But other than that, I mean, I think I'd give this one an A.
My biggest complaint is just like the bases. They're very claustrophobic and kind of it's easy to get lost in them. And in a one-on-one match, like you basically have to be outside to like get anything going. Otherwise, you're just like hiding from each other.
Yeah, I can see that, but I don't think it's worth taking the score off. But whatever. Look at, oh my god, dude! Look at all these.
So many vehicles.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah.
This is insane. This is the default. There's an insane amount of vehicles. There were definitely not this many vehicles. Wow, Banshee too. This has got to be some sort of PC edition version of this because the Xbox version did not have this many vehicles outside. But anyway, Sidewinder. Sidewinder is definitely one of the best maps in the game, in my opinion. I really love it. And I've had some great memories on this map. As a one-on-one map, I do think that it's too big.
Yeah, way too big.
But now,
Despite the great scenery.
Yeah. Now that I'm flying around in this Banshee, though, it actually doesn't seem so big. I've never flown a Banshee on this map before. This is the first time. Just as a map in general, of course, it's like an S. But for one-on-one, let's say B, because I do enjoy the sniping.
Or vehicles, you can have some vehicle fun.
Vehicles, yeah. And there's not really that many places to hide. It is pretty open. Yeah. So yeah, I think B. All right, so this next map, this is called Damnation. So this map overall, it is a little bit weird. It definitely favors people who are good with jumping.
Yeah, I think like the different levels are cool.
It's
you can get
very vertical.
And sneak up on people.
This is probably the most vertical map in the game, I think.
Yeah.
Like it's basically just looking up and down. I think in general, verticality in shooters is like not great.
Yeah, it doesn't play the strengths of the combat.
So there's some interesting areas, and there's some nice risk reward, but it's not getting me excited. So I would say C. Yeah, so this map, Rat Race, bunch of open hallways with no cover. There's one area here that has like some cover, but it just seems it's really boring.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't have much identity. It's just a lot of big hallways, kind of liminal spaces, which, gives you space for firefights, but it's just not very distinguished.
I mean, I think what this map does for me, it accentuates how slowly the character walks in this game. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm just trying to walk through these hallways, and I'm like, go
so
faster, go faster. Like,
The jumping doesn't necessarily help.
so I would go like D, because also I found it relatively hard to find you as well.
Right. Like, not only is it boring, but if you're playing 1v1, you're just looking for each other forever.
Okay, so this map here, this is Prisoner, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Damnation in that there's a lot of verticality to it, and also it rewards people who can time their jumps, because then they get an advantage in terms of positioning. I think it's an interesting concept, and it's just not a map that I'd like to return to just because the verticality, but I like the natural cover with the bridges and stuff, so I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is Hang 'em High. This is one of my favorite maps in the game for sure. I love all the cover. I feel like a lot of these maps we've looked at so far, except for Battle Creek, have just not had any cover at all. And I like being able to peek in and out, and it makes the maps feel better because you're not thinking so much about how slow you are.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. It's a really fun map, and I love the kind of tombstones or whatever these things are, where you just can like strafe around them and have kind of cool fights around those, and then all this stuff on the catwalks if you want, and then the bunkers. There's just like interesting areas to kind of play with. And I also really love the sound design, the kind of whistling, howling wind sounds or whatever, and the echoes. It's just really neat. Yeah.
Yeah, what just happened there? That's a perfect example of the whole concept of the risk reward of the catwalks is great, but it's almost all risk and almost no reward because the pistol is
the one pistol is so OP.
yeah, the pistol's just so good. There's just no reason to go out there because you're just gonna get wrecked instantly. I don't know. I love it. I think this map's a lot of fun, and I would say S.
Yeah, S for me too.
Okay, so this is Chill Out, and I do not have nostalgia for this map. I just, for some reason, none of my friends ever played it, but it seems like a pretty great 1v1 map. I gotta be honest. I mean, compare it to other maps we've gone over where it clearly feels like, okay, this was clearly meant for capture the flag. This one was clearly meant for this. This one definitely feels more like a pure deathmatch map. It almost reminds me of something like Unreal Tournament even.
Oh yeah.
And it's small enough that you're kind of always having encounters. You're never really looking for someone for too long. So I think I might go S here even.
I feel like I have to go with A just because I haven't played it a lot, but
Yeah.
But I guess neither of you.
Yeah. Just one other thing I'll say is I like the fact that all the teleporters are one way. It's like you go in and you can't come back. And I think that my criticism that I had with Battle Creek, with the two-way teleporter camping thing, I think that feels solved here. And I kind of wish that Battle Creek had one-way teleporters as well. Maybe if you had a one-way teleporter on the side of each base. I don't know. Something to think about. But anyway, I do like the one-way teleporters in this map. I think there should be more one-way teleporters in the game. Okay, so this map is Derelict. I think as a deathmatch map, it's fine enough, but it just seems a little bit boring to me. It's too symmetrical, and then like the parts that aren't symmetrical don't feel impactful to the experience.
You know, it's nice to have this kind of map that's just very easy to understand and, you know, symmetrical, just very much an arena. But
yeah,
I could see this getting stale after a while.
It seems like a solid like King of the Hill map, but it seems like it's a very boring like deathmatch map. It's not really doing anything offensive, so it feels a bit harsh. But like, yeah, I think C. It's just not. It's just not very fun. I don't think I would select it on a menu. This is boarding action, and I mean, I gotta say that the concept is great. I don't think I've ever seen any map like this in any other game ever. I do really like the concept. But it's really cumbersome to get from level to level. It's like a big giant maze, and it just feels too reliant on the sniper rifle. Like, if you don't have a sniper rifle, you're basically at a huge disadvantage. To me, this is, I think, the worst map that we've seen so far, and it's an easy D for me. So this is Chiron. I think it's an interesting concept. It reminds me of like the doors from Dark Souls, where it's like a fog door, and you can't see what's on the other side. And the idea of using teleporters almost not as a teleporter, but as like a door you can't see through is like an interesting idea. But ultimately it leads to a situation where it's like there's not very many interesting engagements. You're just kind of running around in circles until you eventually run into somebody.
Yeah, I agree. It's such tight spots that, like, you know, you can't really use grenades, and you're just kind of running around.
Well, I think you can. I think you can use grenades.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it is good
you have to be
for
careful.
grenades. Well, in that you're afraid of killing yourself, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I guess.
There's not like cool angles you can really like use a lot of the time. Anyway, the bigger point is just we've been spending a lot of time running around trying to find each other, and it's like, you know, you go one way, then you go the other way, and then suddenly you see them on the radar, and it's like, okay, and then you just wait for them to come through the portal, or you go through the portal and just.
Yeah, I feel like I'm basically
not great.
I feel like with other maps, I'm actually looking at the level. With this, I have my eyes constantly glued on the radar, being like, okay, where is he? I give them a lot of respect for making it, though. I think it's an interesting concept, and I can see why they never attempted it again. See, there you go. That was a good use of a grenade, though. Still a D, though. All right. I mean, I don't think we have to spend too much time on this one. Everybody knows Blood Gulch. It's a classic. I think, you know, people obviously love it so much because of, like, red versus blue and all that. But even before that, you know, it's a great map. I mean, if you're in a 1v1, I think generally what everybody's going to be doing is they're going to be sniping. And I think it's better than Sidewinder in that regard. Because with Sidewinder, because of the horseshoe thing, it really can be kind of hard to find people. Whereas this, you can stand at one base and you can kill people from the other base.
Exactly. You just go to the top of the base and you will see where the other guy is.
So,
unless they're in the cave.
I think in that way, in terms of one-on-one, I do think it is better than Sidewinder. Alright, so this is Wizard here, and very, very, very simple. Just a 4-way symmetrical level. It's not really exciting, but it's not offensive either. I think also the weapon placements for me aren't great. I would have liked to see maybe, like for example, it's like 2 needlers here, 2 pistols over there, assault rifle over there. Like maybe if maybe there was a needler here and then another needler in a different part of the map, I think that could be more interesting. Because as of right now, with the pistol being so strong, it's like everybody just rushes to that one pistol platform that has all the pistols. So I think some things about it could be improved, and it is a little boring, but it's not terrible, so I think a low B is fair.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard deathmatch arena layout. Aesthetically, pleasing in its symmetry. I think we noticed that the cover here is better than Derelict.
Yeah, cover is slightly better, and then also it just the whole map feels slightly smaller.
Yeah, it just keeps the action moving. I think like a low B. Is that what you said before?
Yeah. So this is longest, and it's generally in the discussion among people for being one of the worst maps in the game, and I would tend to agree. I do think it is better than the other 2 at the bottom, but I think it's in that same ballpark. And I think the issue just comes from there's a lack of variety with the fights. It's literally just a hallway essentially. And then on top of that, the hallway itself is like really obnoxious. There's like these like dips in the ground constantly, and then like you try to cross over and there's these like you can't even like run up this ramp.
I just tripped on one of those little walls.
Yeah, you can't even run up the ramp. You have to like hop over it.
For a little bit, I was thinking maybe I'd go as high as B because I actually do kind of enjoy it. But yeah, the geometry, like just moving around, is kind of annoying. So I think I'd go C. But I think there's still nice things about it, kind of sneaking around, going camo, and getting the drop on someone. So.
All right, so that'll do it for the Halo 1 maps. Nice to go back and check out some of these maps. A lot of them are worse than I remember, though, I gotta be honest. The classics are still classic, and I do think Halo 1 is one of the best Halo games, but definitely a lot of experimental maps in there. There were a lot of maps, too. I definitely am a little bit worried about how late I'm going to be staying up tonight, because I got work tomorrow, and I just really hope that I can get these done, because this is really starting to get long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy too, man. Gotta find a way to make these a little
Gotta
shorter.
make these topics shorter, I think. Alright, but always good to play with you, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next tier list.